Me and one of my best friends decided to shroom out one night. So I head over to a neighboring town and buy a half-ounce of shrooms from him, and a nice bag of ACO Poco goldweed, which is dankweed. The friend I was tripping with had to work, so I waited and smoked a couple of bones until 6 p.m. When he got out, I called up my friend with a car and told him to come get me so we could pick up my friend who was working. We picked him up and headed back to his house for a night of fun. We both grabbed a big glass of orange juice and munched down our shrooms. My friend ate about 3.5 grams of shrooms, because he was low on flow and couldn't afford any more. I decided to take a quarter ounce, 7 grams. A couple of other friends showed up, so we went out to his little shed type thing and we smoked a couple of bowls of dank nugs. More people showed up and it was getting crowded in the shed. We smoked some more and just sat around and laughed and talked. It was about 1/2 hour and I decided to eat a couple more grams. I wasn't sure exactly cause I left my scale at home, but it was around 1.5 to 2 grams more than the 7 grams from earlier. About another 15 minutes to a half hour I was tripping out hardcore. I didn't know what was real, what was fake. I couldn't talk or walk or do anything to function. I just stared into nothing. I was really freaking out and I was having trouble breathing, so I decided to just leave on my own cause I could not handle the environment and I thought it would be better if I go home. So I get home, I can barely walk from the car to my door. I stumble in the house and go right up to my room. Erowid note. Please people, do not drive while tripping. It is extremely dangerous and irresponsible. I just laid in my bed freaking out. I thought I was dying. I thought I was going to hell. I couldn't handle anything. I am an experienced druggie. I have pretty much done everything except heroin. So I decided just to handle it and not call 911 or tell my mom what was going on. I just sat laying in my bed praying, God, please don't let me die. I kept saying it over and over again. I could not concentrate on one thing. Everything was moving. I tried closing my eyes, but it was just like a tunnel of colors I could not get out of. I could not feel any part of my body. I took one of my hands and tried touching my leg and I could not feel it at all. It had been about an hour into my trip and I was really freaking out. All I could think was I wanted this to go away. I decided to try to pass time. I jumped in the shower with all my clothes on and then gradually undressed even though I was already soaking wet. I turned the shower into a bath since I couldn't stand up well. I sat down and everything was still moving in great motion and I was just trapped in some world. I could feel my heart like coming up my throat and beating very fast. I decided for some odd reason that I should shave my whole body, and that would get me out of this insane trip. So I did, and every time I shaved a line the hair would grow right back. Well, at least I was hallucinating that it did, and that freaked me out. So I jumped out of the bath soaking wet and put my clothes back on that were wet too. I exited the bathroom and my mom looked at me puzzled. I told her I didn't feel good and I needed to sleep. She didn't happen to mention why my clothes were soaking. When I was talking to her, her face would change and melt off and change colors, and I was so paranoid that she knew that I was tripping. So finally she left me alone and I went back into my room. My body would keep twitching as I lay in bed. I kept trying to do different things to try to relax me, but none worked. I would turn on music, but that would be too much for me and I couldn't handle it. Once I shut the music off, I kept hearing my close friends talking to me, but I couldn't see them. It was very scary. It's been about 3 hours of hardcore tripping and it really scared me. I decided to smoke a bowl to relax me, but then I just started to peak. I went back to my room and laid down again saying, it's gonna be over in a few hours, just wait it out, you don't need to call 911. My mind was completely shot. I think I may have even died for some minutes or something. What I remember is trying to concentrate on one thing and it just wouldn't happen. When I looked at something my mind could not comprehend what I was seeing, like my mind and body were in two different worlds and they wouldn't come together. For the rest of the night I sat there praying and staring at the clock until 2 a.m. when I pretty much stopped tripping. All I have to say is stick to the normal 3 to 4 grams of shrooms. This was the scariest experience of my life and I will never eat that much shrooms again. Just be careful. Thanks for reading this, your druggie friend.